Hey everybody, welcome to What's Up Wednesday. On March 6th, I attended the American Clean Power Association Operations, Maintenance, and Safety Conference in Orlando, Florida. And I flew down to Orlando because I was moderating a panel discussion on repowering lessons learned of wind turbines. And this was a culmination of about a year-long project by a group of folks who participated in this panel discussion along with me. And my panelists were Ben Campbell from Clearway Energy, Scott Stussy from Mortenson, Larry Wilson from Vestas, Candice Wood from Everpoint Services, and finally Trent Zempel from TAKKION. The interesting thing is over the culmination of about a year of working on what became a white paper on repower lessons learned, we explored a lot of the reasons why the repowering of wind turbines present a lot of unique hazards. And then we shared that and had a discussion with the audience at the conference. But when you look at the bigger picture, right now in the United States, there are roughly 161 gigawatts of wind energy installed, and that equates to somewhere between 75 to 90 plus thousand wind turbines installed in the US. And when you look at a wind turbine, kind of like a vehicle or any other piece of equipment, they kind of have a lifespan. And at some point, you have to go beyond just basic maintenance and you have to perform major repairs. With a wind turbine, those repairs can look like different things. You can replace components such as gearboxes and generators and blades. You can partially repower the turbine, meaning that you put maybe a larger rotor, which is the hub and the blades, and a larger generator to make more power. In some cases, they'll reuse a portion of the tower and put an entirely new unit on top of it. And in some cases, they'll demo the existing turbine and they'll build a brand new one. But ultimately, what we've discovered through, again, a lot of hard lessons learned, incidents and accidents, is that working on repowering an existing wind turbine presents a unique set of hazards and challenges that have resulted in a lot of accidents. So we wanted to kind of dive into maybe some of the reasons behind that. And in this process, and this is kind of the purpose of this What's Up Wednesday, I was able to work with a group of really dynamic safety professionals. And, oftentimes we as professionals get an opportunity to volunteer or step up to do something that is outside of our company, outside of our job, and maybe serves a different purpose. In this case, we're serving an industry and an extraordinary group of people who perform work on wind turbines. And, the one thing I'll say is that it's tremendously satisfying to be able to perform these types of projects. Not only that, it's really fun to be able to work with people like Ben and Scott and Larry and Candice and Trent, because, you're able to build relationships with these folks. And together you're working on, again, making improvements or doing something that contributes to our industry. And I encourage everybody to look for opportunities to do that. I think that there are tremendous growth opportunities and potential in opportunities like this. And it really can be a career advancing type of an activity. It allows, you to work within a group, potentially to lead a group, and to do something that you can put your stamp on and say, look, I was part of that. And God knows how many lives it may save or how many injuries it may prevent, because we're creating awareness. We're creating a map or a blueprint for companies who perform this type of work. And this is just one specific example. There are opportunities at the project level, there are opportunities at the corporate level, and depending on the industry level with associations or within different groups within an industry. So look for those opportunities, because I really think they present growth. And as safety professionals, as leaders, as humans, I think that growth is a really important thing for all of us. And again, I really enjoyed this. This is, I think, the third or fourth time I've spoken at this conference in the past, and every time, I walk away feeling very inspired. So think about that. Look for those opportunities. Where can you volunteer? Where can you join a committee? Where can you contribute? Where can you bring your experience and knowledge and share it with others for good? And how can you utilize these things and leverage them to better communicate and collaborate across the industry, across companies, and across projects? Because ultimately it does good for everybody. So hopefully you find that helpful, and we'll see you next Wednesday.